Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining me. Before we get started, please click subscribe to my channel to keep up with all of my latest investing and personal finance content. And please check out the link you see on your screen where you can get a special offer from our sponsor, The Motley Fool. You can get the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So, Disney made a really interesting move over the weekend. They decided to let go of CEO Bob Chapek and bring back CEO Bob Iger, who was formerly the company's CEO up until right before the COVID pandemic hit. So, just a little bit of background on this situation. Bob Iger was CEO of Disney from September 2005 through February 2020. He was with Disney since 1995. He came as a product of their acquisition of ABC Entertainment. He was named president and chief operating officer, making him the company's number two to Michael Eisner in 2000, and he got promoted to CEO in 2005. He retired abruptly in February 2020, and Bob Chapek took over as CEO. And he was previously the chair of the Parks Experiences and Products Division. So, the whole big reason why did the Disney's board decide that it was time for a change is because of how the company has performed lately. The third quarter, the streaming division in particular was extremely poor. The whole company missed expectations on both the top and bottom lines, but the streaming division lost $1.5 billion despite growing its subscriber base impressively. Disney's streaming services between Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus have more subscribers now than Netflix, and the company's profitability just does not reflect that fact yet. Um, it just didn't turn in a great quarter overall, and the streaming it is really what Disney and Bob Chapek in particular have been all in on. Um, so just a kind of quick history, why are investors excited about this? Disney stock shot up shortly after this announcement was made, and when you look at the kind of track record here, it's not hard to see why. During Bob Iger's tenure, from the day he took over as CEO from Michael Eisner until the day he retired, Disney stock was up by 431%. That means if you put $10,000 into Disney the day that Bob Iger took over, you would have had about $53,000 by the time he left. It's a pretty nice investment return. That's over almost 200 percentage points more than the S&P 500 returned in the same period. Compare that with Bob Chapek's tenure, which, to be fair, was had the COVID pandemic and was relatively short. Disney stock actually lost 26% during his tenure, and the S&P gained 33% during the same time. So he dramatically underperformed the market. Really didn't do with the streaming division what investors had expected him to do. Um, Bob Iger, in addition to those numbers, he presided over some of the smartest decisions ever made at Disney. He's was instrumental in acquiring Pixar, for example, in 2006. He acquired Marvel Entertainment in 2009, Lucasfilm, which was arguably one of Disney's best acquisitions in 2012. And he was the one who was all in on streaming and presided over the Disney Plus launch in 2019. So he's already made some moves. He's already announced a pretty big restructuring plan in the media and entertainment division. He essentially wants to give more power to the teams that are producing content and making the plans themselves rather than have a top heavy management. Um, Kareem Daniel, who has been overseeing the streaming and entertainment division, is no longer with the company. So he's already making some pretty big moves. So I'm excited about this because Bob Iger was the one who started Disney's push into streaming, and I really want to see what he can do with it now that he's back. He kind of took it from a nothing idea to a very impressive launch at the end of 2019. If you don't remember, Disney met their 5-year projections for Disney Plus within the first year. So I'm really encouraged to see about what he can do with the streaming division now that he's taking over, especially with their upcoming price hike. Uh, I don't think Disney is really using its full pricing power to monetize Disney Plus yet. They're adding an ad sponsored tier and they're making the standard no ads tier significantly more expensive. So that should help bring it to profitability. Their parks are just an absolute cash machine business. Credit where it's due. Bob Chapek did do a good job of monetizing Disney's parks more than they were, whether you agree with his decisions or not to implement things like the paid Genie Plus system to get the lightning lanes and things like that is another matter. But he did increase monetization at the park significantly, and that should remain. And box office revenue has been very slow since the start of the pandemic. It really hasn't come back to pre-pandemic levels yet, but I think that's going to change in the fourth quarter and beyond. There's some pretty big titles being released in the next couple weeks, actually, and I think that's going to be a pretty big part of Disney going forward. So I'm really excited to see what he can do as CEO, and it makes me happy as a Disney shareholder. I kind of want to buy more of the stock now. Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already. And as always, this video is sponsored by the Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.